All righty. All right, good afternoon. Thank you for joining the ESSA Discretionary Grant Monitoring and Preparation webinar. I am Teri Manning. I am the ESSA Compliance Manager. I am also joined by Vanessa Waters, who is the McKinney-Vento and Immigrant Grant Manager.
Good afternoon, everyone.
All right, so just a quick overview of the agenda. We are going to review the monitoring overview. We're going to review accessing the discretionary grant monitoring instrument. We're going to conduct a monitoring walkthrough, and then we're going to end with reminders and technical assistance. All right, so we want to first start off with the department's monitoring commitments. We are committed to engaging in meaningful and open dialogue, to reduce the number of findings of non-compliance through training and technical assistance prior to monitoring, to provide an accurate and comprehensive review of the state of compliance for monitored discretionary grants, to highlight areas that exceed requirements, to provide individualized follow-up assistance based on results. And to empower LEAs and schools to build on compliance requirements and execute effective programs.
I'm about to go.
Peace. All right, the purpose of the ESSA Discretionary Grant Monitoring is to ensure the appropriate use of federal funds, to document those funds are spent effectively, to ensure those funds are used in accordance with the terms of the grant award, to document the measurement of performance goals, and to review needs to better inform technical assistance. The requirements outlined in the American Rescue Plan Act, also known as ARP, and other regulations mandate that the Tennessee Department of Education provide technical assistance to LEAs, as well as oversee and monitor the implementation of federal grants. All LEAs receiving funding through the following grants must participate in this monitoring. If you receive ARP Homeless 1.0, ARP Homeless 2.0, ARP Homeless System Navigator, and Title III Part A Immigrant Grant. If you receive any of those funds, you are required to participate in the FY24 monitoring process. All right, just an overview section of the monitoring instrument. When you access ePlan, you will see a page for introduction and overview of monitoring process. This section includes instructions on how to access, how to complete the instrument, and how to submit the instrument. You also have an assurance page, and that page is required for each LEA to confirm that all of the information entered into the instrument is accurate and valid to the best of their knowledge. And then you will see the ESSA Discretionary Grant Monitoring instruments. You have your LEA, ARP Homeless 1.0, 2.0, and Systems Navigator grants. That's all one page. And then you have your Title III Immigrant Discretionary Grant. You also have a page for related documents to upload any supporting evidence for the monitoring process. All right, so the ESSA Discretionary Grant Monitoring only includes LEA level submissions. There are no school level or conversation components to this monitoring process. The instrument opens February the 6th. There are no required uploads. You will be required to respond to short answers that will be agree and disagree. Of course, if you disagree, you will be required to provide a justification. And then you also have open response. You will be required to provide thorough explanations to the questions or the prompt provided. You want to provide responses for the current school year. So that's going to be FY23-24. You also have the ability to select NA to disable the entire page or section for grants that are not applicable. So for example, if you receive ARP Homeless 1.0, but you did not receive ARP Homeless 2.0 or Systems Navigator, you have the ability to select disable this page or disable this section. That way, you're only responsible for completing the ARP Homeless 1.0 section. The instrument is due March 6th. Your monitoring results will be available approximately April 5th. There is no exit meeting for this ESSA Discretionary Grant Monitoring process. So there will not be a scheduled exit meeting. You will be notified of your results through ePlan. All right. Accessing ePlan. Users with ESSA Discretionary Grant Director access may log into ePlan, then choose Monitoring Instruments 2024, and then select FY24 ESSA Discretionary Grant Monitoring. You will then click Draft Started at the top of the sections page to begin your pre-work. Users with the Grant Director role for the monitored grants will be automatically assigned the ESSA Discretionary Grant Director role, and no further action is required. For example, if you currently hold the role as the ARP Homeless Director or the Title III Immigrant Director, you will automatically be assigned the ESSA Discretionary Grant Director role and have full access to that monitoring instrument. If you are not users who are not automatically assigned that role and need access to that role, you would need to complete the ePlan LEA user access form. The instrument will open on February the 6th, which is tomorrow. You will have full access to the instrument then. There is no required evidence to be uploaded for this particular monitoring instrument. You do have the option to upload documents to provide additional information. If you feel the need to submit maybe a policy or a procedure as supporting evidence, you do have that option, but there are no required uploaded evidence for this instrument. If you decide to upload any documentation, please do not upload personally identifiable information. ID numbers are encouraged instead of PII. You have short answer questions. The monitoring instrument requires responses to short questions or statements. Next to each item, you want to use that drop-down box to choose from the list. The page requires users to choose between agree and disagree. Remember, if you choose disagree, you must provide a justification. Now, just because you select disagree, that does not necessarily identify that that item is non-compliant. Just ensure that you also provide a justification for disagree. Now, some pages and sections have the option to choose not applicable or NA. If the user chooses agree, yes, or NA, there is no need to justify the response. For your open response questions, the pages within the instrument require responses to questions in an open response text box. Please read each question or statement thoroughly and respond with enough information to address all elements of the question or statement. Remember, there is no interview component. Therefore, the LEA must provide thorough responses to fully answer the questions. You can use bold, underline font, change the size or the color. You can add bullets or numbers to lists to bring attention to specific parts of your answer. But please ensure that your responses are fully answering the questions and they are thorough. If the LEA chooses to provide additional information, please name and upload the document on the related documents page. All right. So we are now going to get into the monitoring walkthrough. All right, so once you're in ePlan, once you're in ePlan, you want to navigate to the ESSA Discretionary Grant Monitoring instrument by logging in and then selecting Monitoring Instruments from the left menu options. On the Monitoring Instruments page, select the current fiscal year, then ESSA Discretionary Grant Monitoring. So you want to ensure that you're in the appropriate fiscal year. So you want to be in 2024. Click Draft Started at the top of the Sections page to begin working in the instrument. Pages that require LEA response begin with LEA. Pages that are only viewable to the department begin with TDOE. So your 2 pages will start with LEA. Those are the instruments that you will work in and complete and submit. The LEA must complete both grant pages or select NA to submit the instrument. For example, if you did not receive Title III Immigrant, but you did receive ARP, because it's one instrument with 2 pages, you would need to go into Title III Immigrant page and click on Disable. This entire page will be disabled in order to submit the instrument. The NA option is located at the top of each LEA page. The NA option is also located at the top of each section on the page. LEAs must provide a response to all practices, questions, and statements. The drop-down options agree, disagree, NA. Disagree answers require a short explanation. Choose what is accurate so the department can meet you where you are. We want you to be honest and transparent about where you are in the process. If you select disagree, please provide a response. Narratives are required for open responses. Answer the question completely, but do not provide more than what is asked. Uploads are optional. You may upload documents to provide additional information. Documents must be clearly labeled. For example, if you want to submit additional documentation around how you are tracking your services, then clearly label that document procedures for tracking services. Also, do not upload personally identifiable information. After responding to all areas, use the validation column of the sections page to confirm all items were completed. Once you have completed all requirements, the LEA ESSA Discretionary Grant Director must return to the sections page to change the status to reviewed. Once that is done, The Director of Schools, who is also the LEA authorized representative, must return to the sections page to change the status to LEA authorized representative approved to submit the completed instrument to the department. So we have two levels of approval and submission. One is going to be the ESSA Discretionary Grant Director, and then the final person would be the LEA authorized representative approved. For additional instructions, please navigate from the sections page to instructions and reference notes for complete details. All right, some reminders and technical assistance. The instrument opens February the 6th. It is due on March 6th. The monitoring team will review the information and finalize the monitoring results. And those final monitoring results will be shared via ePlan by April 5th. The LEA can ask questions about monitoring results, action steps, and deadlines if needed. If you have any questions or concerns after receiving your results, we are happy to schedule a one-on-one to talk through your results and or any action steps. Once that's completed, the monitoring team changes the status to closed when all obligations are met. After that, the FPO divisional coordinators will follow up on findings of non-compliance and provide support as needed. Again, few reminders. LEA level submission only. There is no school level or conversation component. No uploads are required. Provide responses for the current school year. You have the ability to select NA to disable the entire page or section for grants that are not applicable. We will also host office hours, and all funds must be expended or reimbursed requested by December 15, 2024. All right, so we are now going to transition to the instrument walkthrough, and Vanessa is going to walk us through this portion.
Thanks, Teri. Okay.
Well, hold on, let's go back. And
okay. Teri, can you guys see my screen?
yes.
Okay, I found this on the web for can you guys see my screen? Check it out.
Alexa is responding. Our Siri is responding. Okay, so I don't see it on our screen, Teri, for the recording purposes. Is it me?
It's still recording on my end. So
okay. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started. So what you like, Teri said, you want to go into your monitoring instrument and click on that. Make sure you're in FY 2024. And you're going to find the FY24 ESSA Discretionary Grant Monitoring and click on that. Let me just make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Ensure that you click draft started. If you don't, the instrument will not. Oh, it looks like I don't have access to this. So I'm not going to be able to click draft started because my credentials do not support this. And you'll know if you click on your draft start, it'll tell you who has access to start this application. In this case, I do not, but we can still walk through it. So you're going to, like Teri said, scroll down here. You have the history log, which you can check any history you've had. You can look at your overview for assurances, and then, of course, down to the actual document. And so, as Teri mentioned, you can hit NA if you did not receive your 1.0 grant here. If you did not participate in that. If you did not participate, Teri, what is this one up here at the top? This is disagree. Okay. This is if you did not take any ARP homeless funding and you're just here for the Title III immigrant, you're going to mark NA. And so if not, if you're here for ARP1, ARP2, or Systems Navigator, you're going to go ahead and do your select, disagree, agree. Again, that once, if you hit draft started, you'll be able to make those selections. Unfortunately, I don't have access, so I cannot show you that. But like Teri mentioned, if you disagree with a question, you put it in your comment why you disagree and validate that. If you scroll on down, if you received ARP Homeless 1.0, which will be 20 LEAs, this was open to McKinney-Vento subgrantees only at the time. So most of you will be selecting NA for the ARP Homeless 1.0. If you do so, you're just going to go ahead and scroll on down to ARP 2.0. The questions in 1.0 are the same as 2.0. And so, like Teri said, the more thorough you are with your response, the easier it'll be for the review team to understand what's going on in your programming and how you're spending these ARP homeless funds. Again, if these questions do not apply, you're just going to mark NA. If you don't work with community-based organizations or have any subcontractors, you would just mark that out and not respond to that. Again, as she mentioned, you have to have your funds liquidated by December 15th of 2024. Just a reminder, obligation is by September 30 of 2024. So anything that you have obligated must be obligated by September 30 of 2024 and liquidated by December 15th of 2024. Just a little note for myself, if you are doing this ARP Homeless Discretionary Grant, but after this you decide that you want to release funding, please reach out and let me know as soon as possible so that we can get those funds released and reallocated to other LEAs. Systems Navigator, again, there's not very many of you who are Systems Navigator grant award winners, but for the 16 LEAs that did, you'll make sure you complete that. For those who did not, you mark NA. And then we've completed that. So let's go back here and show you really quick.
And also, if you if you have the same procedures and processes for each grant, feel free to copy and paste. If you were doing the same thing for 1.0, 2.0, Systems Navigator, feel free to copy and paste.
Thanks, Teri. And then for Immigrant, again, there's a handful of LEAs who receive the Immigrant subgrant. So most of you will probably just click over here on the NA button. You will not be able to submit if you do not do that. So make sure that you thoroughly complete the NAs for those programs that you do not participate in, or those grants you do not participate in. Again, same concept as your ARP Homeless, disagree, agree, and then your questions for that. And there's no obligation date for there's no obligation date for Immigrant Grant. Those funds will roll over if you don't spend them, but you still need to make sure you're telling us how you plan on spending your funds for this FY24. Let's see, anything, assurances, Teri. Let's see. Once you've, so let me show you, like if I had access, you would hit you're finished your application and you hit draft started. It'll change to draft complete, and then you would click on draft complete, and it'll take you, if there's any errors, like if you forgot to NA something or you forgot to fill in a question that was required, it'll show you what the errors are and where you click on that, and it'll take you back to where you need to make your corrections or your revisions, and then you should be able to submit that application. Let's see, assurances. Like Teri said, you're going to make sure that you click your assurances here. If you do not, it will not allow you to submit. So ensure that you've gone to all of those boxes and either NA'd them or completed the required submission. I believe that's it, Teri. Anything else you wanted me to show them?
No, okay. That's good. Do we have any questions so far? Any questions about accessing the instrument, the monitoring process in general, or does anyone need assistance with the ePlan user access form? All right. I'm going to get back to the screen. Okay. All right, so we are providing technical
Teri,
assistance.
Teri, we do have a question in the chat box.
All right.
So the question is, so want to confirm that we should disable Title III immigrant, or we must be explained how we service our immigrant students even if we don't receive the grant. So if you only receive the immigrant sub-grant, you don't have to complete it. If you just serve immigrant students, you don't have to complete that. There is only, again, if you received an award specifically for Title III immigrants.
Yes. Perfect. All right, so as I stated, we do have technical assistance and support available. If you happen to think of any questions after this webinar, feel free to join any of the following office hour sessions. They will be offered from 1 to 2 Central Time, 2 to 3 Eastern Time on the following days: February the 6th, which is tomorrow, February the 13th, February the 20th, February the 27th, and March 5th. Those are all Tuesdays.
Teri, we have another question. The question is there a deadline for spending the funds? So for ARP homeless, yes, across the board, all ARP homeless funding must be obligated by September 30 of 2024 and drawn down or liquidated by December 15th of 2024.
Okay.
That also does include any gift cards. If you're purchasing gas cards or store cards, all of those items must be liquidated by the December 15th liquidation date. So make sure that you're thinking about that when you're purchasing or obligating your funds in September of 2024. The migrant grant, no. So the rule for, I'm saying migrant, I'm sorry, the immigrant grant, the rule for that is you can carry over 25% of your grant award each year, or I'm sorry, every 3 years. So we highly encourage you to spend 75% of the award funds. That way, in the 3-year period, you can request to carry over any funding that was not able to be spent. That's through a waiver request. So like I said, if you choose not to spend, or not choose, but if you can't spend your money right now for your immigrant grant and you need to roll it over into FY25, you'll have to submit a waiver and get an exception for that. And then that would be your one waiver for the next 3 years. Again, it's all case by case when the team reviews the revision or the applications. Megan, no, it's not 75% by June 30. So with the immigrant grant, you have until the next, so when we run the next sub-grant, you have till September to spend down those immigrant funds. So September 30 of 2024 for your immigrant funding to spend down. Again, those don't drop dead. Those are just going to roll over into FY25. Unlike your ARP homeless funds at the December 15th, 2024, those funds will be completely dead and they will not be able to be used again.
Vanessa, if you're a new federal program supervisor, how can you tell if the district received Title III immigrant? Is there, you want to walk through exactly how Rhonda can access that information, or Rhonda, do you want to just share the district and Vanessa can tell you if you are required to complete that section of the instrument?
Yes, so Rhonda, Kingsport did not qualify this year. The numbers that were submitted into the ESI information that Trish Kelly, our data coordinator, pulls. So you would not have to complete the immigrant portion of this discretionary grant.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so with that being said, if any other questions, do we have any other questions before we end? As I stated, if questions come up, The instrument opens tomorrow, so you will have an opportunity to review the instrument, and you may have questions then. Please feel free to join any of these office hour sessions. It's going to be on Tuesdays, starting tomorrow, ending on March 5th. Please join and ask any clarifying questions. We will be happy to provide technical assistance if you feel that you would benefit better from targeted technical assistance meetings, like one-on-one sessions. You may request those as well. If there are no more questions, then we will give you some of your time back. Well, you got 27 minutes that you are getting back for today. And also, we can hold on a little while because I know sometimes we have questions after the session.
Teri,
so we are happy to
doing-
stay on.
Teri, are you going to
Yes.
send this slide deck out in an email after
Yes.
or by the end of the week?
Well, it will be available in the TDOE Resources. And that will be available, what was the date? It's next week once Jillian processes and upload it.
And the
It will be
technical guide
available.
is already in there as well, correct?
Yes. Yes. You have the technical guide if you want to walk through this process. The technical guide is also available in the TDOE Resources. This PowerPoint is already in TDOE Resources section, but the recording, the webinar, will be available by the end of next week. Right? All right, so well, thank you for your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And again, we're going to stay back a few minutes if someone has any additional questions.